center in your heart. See that transfiguring light, see that mountaintop, see the Himalayas. Let's go.
Please close your eyes. Penetrate deeply into the inner space of your own heart. In this stillness, in the center of this spherical interval, you and God are one. As you become untethered from your physical body, see yourself gliding, soaring as a mighty blue eagle high above the earth, above all human effluvia and mindlessness. You are drawn by the gentle radiance of the great Master, Lord Himalaya. Feel his magnetic power of pure, divine love, beckoning you to the retreat of the Blue Lotus within one of the great snow-covered glaciers high in the Himalayan range. As you approach from above in your finer bodies, you are able to hone in on Himalaya's retreat as your inner guidance enables you to see a large profile of the Master's face on the side of the mountain. A path of light opens before your feet. You are guided toward the foot of the great rocky promontory where the face of the rock suddenly glows with celestial radiance. As you approach, the doorkeeper welcomes you, as he does each earnest seeker after truth. Know well, he says, many have sought our retreat for eons, but only a scant few have found this temple, and even fewer have had the privilege of standing before the God of the mountains himself. And with that, the seemingly impenetrable rocky face of the mountain opens before you. You see a serene presence standing in the doorway, beckoning you into the courtyard of the outer temple. This guide welcomes you, leading you inside. Welcome to the temple of the Blue Lotus, devout one. Please follow me. The guide leads you to a small chamber, saying, here are silk robes which you are to wear while here. The garment feels incredible. The fabric is a precipitated material as you have never before experienced in the outside world. The moment you put on the robe, instantaneously a thrill of lightness passes through you, making you feel as you are about to float in the air. Our guide explains, these luminous robes are the robes of the self-knowledge of the Buddha. So rejoice in the self-awareness you gain merely by being robed in them, bathed in illumination's flame. The guide gestures it is time to move on. As you glide on walkways of cobalt blue flame, you pass tropical plants, singing birds, and swiftly flowing, sparkling rivulets, flowing under delicate bridges, and bright-hued flowers nesting among greenery that most assuredly could not live at this great height, except in the magical presence of an ascended master radiating much love. Entering the great hall, you come upon a lovely pond carved in the stone floor. It is filled with crystal clear water, and upon its tranquil surface floats multitudes of the revered blue lotus flower. Its fiery deep blue sapphire blossoms are a sight few humans have seen. The fragrance is otherworldly and fills your whole being with a celestial peace. No wonder this exotic flower is the symbol of this retreat. As we pass the lotus pond, our guide gives adoration. O beloved flowers, resting on the bosom of the eternal God, I bow before the fragrance of your opening petals. The guide goes on to explain, this sacred lotus has been steeped in symbolism since ancient times. In fact, it was the first flower brought forth on earth. It grows only in the purest of waters, is exceedingly rare, and as such has become a symbol of ultimate enlightenment. Continuing on into the large auditorium is a large dais where an unascended Himalayan master is lecturing to a group of disciples sitting in lotus posture on raised, square pillows. Behind the dais, our guide leads you to the entrance of the sacred flame chamber. Standing in the doorway, you can see a very large altar covered with fine gold filigree resting on a wide marble base. Around it are the most incredible teakwood books decorated with beautiful Oriental-style carved ivory. The guide explains these books contain the great writings of the Masters of Wisdom, which will be released at the appropriate time to the peoples of the earth. The walls of the sacred flame chamber are rough-hewn, showing the natural beauty of the rock. On the great altar burns the mystic lotus flame, an intense and fiery action of the threefold flame that ascends from out of a seemingly unsupported chalice of white fire. It rises towards the vaulted ceiling, ascending to twice the height of a tall man. Sitting there in lotus posture in a circle around the flame are priests who belong to the sainted order of the lotus flame. They are garbed in white linen robes with a blue lotus embroidered over the heart. They sit in oriental fashion upon silken cushions. Before each one is the object of their meditation, a great shining bowl containing the golden waters of precipitated light. And within each chalice floats the exotic blue lotus itself, a crystalline creation of ascended master light substance in which flickers the mighty flame of God's eternal will. These priests are in deep meditation, so deep they are not even cognizant of our presence. You stand there bathed in the aura of their sacred radiance for what seems like an eternity, until one of the priest's eyes focuses upon you and beckons you to enter. Your guide admonishes you to remain silent and to remove your sandals in reverence and respect. Quietly and with great sacredness, enter the flame chamber. As you approach, the Holy One arises out of the lotus posture, saying, "Greetings, O blessed soul of light. You are here because we reward some devout, unascended chelas by allowing them contact with our mystic order. We who have gained our mastery at the feet of the great Lord of Wisdom, Himalaya, Chakshusha Manu, show our gratitude by taking to ourselves pupils in his name. I pray you are so blessed as to stand in the actual presence of our beloved Himalaya. The great Master grants one request to each pilgrim who makes the arduous journey here. Think carefully and deeply and pray well before making such a request, because all earthly values are swept away in the glory of his presence, and that which has seemed so important in the valley is insignificant on the heights." "Follow me," the priest requests, leading you down a carved stone hallway toward the heart of the inner temple. Our retreat might be referred to in the outer world as a school of simulation-based learning, similar to one who would learn to fly with the help of a flight simulator. In this case, it is for your soul to take flight, to come up higher, and experience the ascending levels of God's consciousness within your own spiritual centers, with the hope when you leave you will retain that experience. As we continue deeper within the center of the mountain, the priest points out that the entire top of this mountain is cone-shaped and hollowed out into 7 magnificent chambers, arranged in tiers, much like steps or stairs. These 7 chambers provide a system of initiation, whereby one begins training in the lowest and largest of the chambers, and is allowed to ascend to the next chamber only when completing certain studies and passing prescribed tests of self-mastery. Our Sacred Order of the Blue Lotus is dedicated to the development of individual self-mastery through the flowering of the 7 chakras in the body of man. Those who make their way through all the tiers are received with honors in the retreat of Lord Gautama at Shambhala. I describe this development of mastery as flowering because each chakra, as we view it from an inner perspective, appears as a lotus flower. In many among mankind, the blossoms are unopened, closed tightly as the bud of a young flower. In some, the blossoms may be partially opened, showing partial development. In either case, the lack of flowering restricts the flow of God's energy. As you gain dominion of your world, the petals of that specific chakra unfold, opening wider and wider. The more petals, the higher the frequency of that chakra. Each chakra corresponds to one of the 7 tiers of this retreat. And as you attune to that tier's universal frequency, that chakra begins to flower, giving the soul greater access to the energies of that level of consciousness. This is how you learn to govern the 7-fold nature of your being. Continuing on, we stop at an entrance that opens into a gargantuan chamber. The priest explains, to know the presence of the I am that I am, you must be still and know that I am God. This is an essential feature, a prerequisite, if you will, for being able to mount the 7 levels of our retreat. The individual Chila, particularly in the West, does not know the meaning of getting still. And while many students who come here have built a powerful momentum in the giving of verbal decrees, there is a need to balance their activities by learning to work in the silence as well. The wiser one becomes, the more silent is the tongue, the more peaceful is the emotional world, and the less thinking is done with the brain. Perfect stillness you must know, and in that knowing all will be known by you in the soundless sound of the One. For the Logos speaks often to the silent one. Entering the chamber, we journey into the heart of an ancient forest. A cool and gentle breeze kisses your face. Breathing deeply, you can smell the pine in the air. There is the sound of a small, babbling brook. You're in awe. Such wonders of nature surely have never been seen in the outer world. This forest seems familiar. You can feel its wise energy as you are guided by a force that you trust and that makes you feel safe, nurtured, and still. As you reach the very heart of the forest, before you is a shimmering pond of crystal clear water. Its surface free from even the slightest ripple. It is like a mirror, undisturbed by wind, rain, or any other thing. Behind the pond is a towering statue of an exquisite golden Buddha, seated in lotus posture, engaging in deep meditation. The Buddha's reflection is crystal clear on the still pond. His image is still, comparable to a photograph, but more alive and three-dimensional like a hologram. Our holy priest softly explains, the power of God's peace is anchored here. This is for the soul who truly desires to experience the majesty of peace, who cradles the quietness of the Buddha contained in the great silence. Let us practice, encourages this Holy One. Rest in this ancient forest sanctuary. Become very, very still. Breathe in the calm. Listen to the wind and the brook. Feel the earth and sense its vibrations. Allow your body to let go and sink into the space around you. Take a deep breath, slowly pushing your tummy out. Hold for a moment, and then slowly breathe out. Let go of any tension or tight places that might be within you. Continue this pranayama breathing. Visualize yourself, your aura, your being dissolving into the great space around you. Feel the light, the great silence everywhere present. Go deep, deep into the silence. Become that great, great silence. For God never ceases to speak to you as the still, small voice. Say to him in your heart, Great Self, speak to me. And the Father Mother whispers, to the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. Blessed Chila, you can return on the instant to this experience, to this serene pond, any time you would like. Using the process of cosmic thought, you can recreate this meditation space wherever you are. Your consciousness is now cued to return to this scene by simply saying within your heart the phrase, enter the great silence. And there you are, back to the image of the Buddha that stills all outer activity. As we exit the chamber, the priest clarifies, today you have requested a special dispensation to experience the 7 levels of God consciousness. This will be done, as we desire to give you every opportunity to develop your individual self-mastery through the flowering of the 7 chakras. Our voyage upward is about to begin. A final instruction. Embedded within each of the 7 chambers is a spiritual light at the frequency of that particular level of universal consciousness. This flame can be contacted only by entering the silence and attuning to its vibration. No other accoutrements or decorations are present in these chambers. The flame is to be your sole point of concentration. Your job is to connect with that flame and draw from the great silence that particular frequency of light present but unseen in the chamber until you make the connection with it. As we meditate in each level, I will assist you to increase the intensity of light in that chakra that now lays dormant until you bring that spiritual center to pitch at a certain frequency of the Christ consciousness. As you move through each successive layer, you will need to penetrate deeper into the silence. In the lower levels, entering the silence is easy, just requiring a meditative state and absence of mental activity. In the 4 upper chambers, more concentration is required to achieve these higher states of samadhi, cosmic awareness. And finally, at the pinnacle, you need to achieve maha samadhi, enlightenment and unity. But let us begin at the beginning. And with that, our holy priest prays, Mighty archangels release the keys to the mastery of the 7 planes of universal consciousness, the keys to self-mastery in every level of being, to the flowering of the 7 chakras in the body of man. May we be so blessed as to mount the 7 tiers of this retreat, to ascend to the very pinnacle of our being. O Himalaya, Chakshusha Manu of the 4th root race, O Gabriel, Archangel of Purity's ray, may this blessed Chela experience the glory of the Mother Light in the 1st tier, as the flaming goddess rises to restore life to the flowering of the base of the spine chakra in the physical body of man. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the Divine Mother, it is done according to the will of God. Amen. The Holy Priest beckons you to enter the lowest energy chamber. Entering the 1st tier, the chamber is solely rough-hewn rock, but the vibration of the Mother Goddess, the flame of life, is everywhere present. The priest sits in lotus meditation within this great cavern, motioning you to follow. Return to the image of the Buddha, the priest exhorts. Quiet the outer mind, expanding your awareness into cosmic dimensions. Enter the silence at this level. In that instant, the scene changes before your very eyes. The purity of the Universal Mother bursts forth as dazzling white diamond light that permeates every erg of space within the chamber. Absorb its purity, its gleaming whiteness, and make it a part of yourself. See your base chakra as it begins to flower with its 4 petals that set the pattern for the flowering of the mother flame in each of the 4 lower bodies. Your body becomes transparent. You no longer see the form. You see only light, 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 scintillating light rays in all directions. You are becoming the purity of the Mother. The next step in our voyage of self-discovery is to rise from this level of the Mother to the level of the abode of the soul. Look up, our holy priest says. This is the first of 7 magnificent chambers carved one on top of the other, each separated by hundreds of feet of solid rock from the next, and so on. You can see the spiral staircase that ascends through the passageway in the ceiling to the 2nd tier. There is one more set of stairs after that, connecting the 2nd tier to the 3rd, but beyond that the initiate must levitate and adjust his atomic pattern to pass through the solid ceiling. Self-mastery of the base of the spine is the secret to bilocation and levitation, a gift that has been given to any number of saints. Do not be intimidated by this, as levitation is a natural law of the universe, an initiation towards adeptship. The raising of the body is accomplished quite simply as a result of the light atoms composing the body, absorbing at will an additional quality of cosmic rays and spiritual substance which neutralizes the pull of gravity. I extend my comforting hand to you, our holy priest says, extended in pure love, as an alchemical tie, the flow of spiritual energy through my hand to yours. Won't you take it, absorbing with me cosmic rays to become a light ray yourself? And with that, the holy priest prays. I invoke the light of Asia, the light of the 7th tier of the retreat of the Blue Lotus, as the magnet that will draw us up, that impels the rising of the soul energies and of the mother flame, that we find ourselves levitating and entering into those pathways of the Eastern adepts. O dearest Lord, we seek the siddhi, the ability to levitate, not for power, but for very love of God, and the very desire to help others in full divine compassion. Let it be so. And with a flash of cosmic rays, lighter and lighter grows your physical form, the gravitational pull being loosened, and with the weightlessness of helium you rise, passing through the opening in the solid rock ceiling. Again our priest prays, O Himalaya, Chakshusha, O Zadkiel, Archangel of Freedom's ray, may this blessed Chiwa mount to experience the luminous light of the second tier of the blue lotus, for the full flowering of the soul, for the raising of the primal essence of mother life from the base of the spine chakra to the level of the seat of the soul. May it be so. Entering the second tier, the level of the astral body. The energies of freedom here are very pronounced. Assume the lotus posture, quelling the lower mind again. Enter the silence at this level. You come to the perception of the flame anchored here. See the many skeins of light, ranging in color from a delicate amethyst to a vibrant deep purple. Its centripetal and centrifugal action weaves a violet flame carpet beneath your feet, as its transmuting currents ascend buoyantly through the ceiling above you. Our Holy One prays, Awake! Thou that sleepest, awake! O soul, rise now from thy bed, even thy bed of straw in the seat of the soul chakra. Come forth now, be quickened, and live. Come forth now by the quickening power of the mighty archangels to transmute the molds and matrices of negative thought and feeling, liberating the misdemeanors of the soul to become all that God made it to be. Soul, come forth now. Breathe deeply of this rarefied and spiritual sanctity and make it a part of yourself as your seat of the soul chakra begins to flower. See its 6 petals unfolding, that your soul may ride the wave of freedom of the rising mother flame, moving step by step around its petals until the soul itself becomes that mother flame. A profound sense of liberation overwhelms your soul, the feeling of true soul freedom, the ultimate freedom to become God. Claim in this moment your spiritual inheritance. May it be so. The next step in our voyage of self-discovery is to rise from the seat of the soul to the level known as the place of the sun. Let us pray. O Himalaya, Chakshusha Manu, O Uriel, Archangel of Resurrection's ray, may this blessed Chiwa mount to experience the luminous light of the 3rd tier of the blue lotus for the full flowering of the solar plexus. Let it be so. And with that, the sense of weightlessness comes upon you again as you levitate through the opening in the solid rock ceiling. Entering the third tier, the level of the mental body, you sense the incredible power of velvet softness, peace, stillness, quietude. Enter the silence at this level. Immediately your attention is drawn to the center of the chamber by a most gorgeous flame of pulsating, deep alexandrite purple and topaz sun gold with starfire flecks of ruby crystal. This flame is radiating ribbons of alternating purple and gold concentric heart-shaped rings that permeate every erg of this chamber with the vibration of cosmic Christ peace. Breathe deeply of this rarefied and spiritual sanctity, tuning the center in resonance to this energy chamber. See your solar plexus chakra as it begins to flower with its 10 magnificent petals, each petal one test of the 10, testing the level of your selflessness and service. This test of the 10 is a prerequisite of those preparing to enter into the heart. Our holy and blessed priest prays, O holy Christ self of this one, I pray for this initiate to master the solar plexus, becoming a fountain of peace, power, and plenty, so out of the belly shall flow rivers of living water. Lord Christ, bequeath from your body and blood the force field of the resurrection spiral, that your voice may be imprinted upon this blessed soul, knowing that this is the voice of the Son of God, that this one might hear and live. Treasure now your development of spiritual equipoise, tranquility, and peace, holding it for eternity, that you may truly become an imperturbable one. The next step in our voyage of self-mastery is to rise from the solar plexus to the level of the heart. It is the first of the top 4 chambers which are reserved for deep meditation. Here advanced masters enter the great silence to gather their energies for self-renewal. To arrive at the next level, we need to pass through several hundred feet of solid rock, since no openings in the stone to the 4th tier are available. Blessed Sheila, fear not. This is a further initiation in adeptship, to be able to dematerialize enough to pass through seemingly solid matter, rematerializing at the other end. To accomplish this, I impart to you the very advanced teachings transferred by adepts of the Himalayas to their highest disciples, whereby the initiate learns to pass their bodies through solid matter. This is done by the application of the principle of motion at the molecular level. Ponder the molecular level of the granite. In reality, it is very porous, with exponentially more space than solid matter. See it as a lattice of dots. See the very movement of a serpent's body producing the sine wave at a molecular level. In this very same way, you can adjust the atomic structure of your body for your electrons to slither through the very large gaps, relatively speaking, in the atomic structure of the rock. Take my hand, and I will transmit to you the electronic pattern for the adjustment of the atomic structure of your body. Applying this matrix will allow you to dematerialize enough for your electrons to slither through the atomic structure of the rock. The Holy One makes the sign of the cross over your heart, saying, O Himalaya, Chakshusha, O Chamuel, mighty archangel of love's ray, may this blessed Chila mount to experience the maximum allowable intensity of the luminous light of the fourth tier of the Blue Lotus for the full flowering of the heart. Ready? Up we go. I give you a warning as we approach the ceiling. At first you may feel a bit squeamish and uncomfortable as you view the granite rock from the inside out, instead of how you normally see it from the outside in. But after you acclimate, it will be exhilarating. Ready? Through the granite we go. As you rematerialize in the fourth tier, the entire chamber is filled with the feeling of loving kindness, generosity, and true compassion for others. This is the level of the body of transformation, or created body, where the etheric vehicle is transformed, wrapping the soul in a permanent garment of light. What is known by the perfected ones as the ascended master light body, or what the Buddhists term the Nirmana Kaya. Return instantly to the experience of the still pond, to the image of the Buddha. Turn the attention to your heart. Penetrate into the heart of the great, great silence, and abide within its bliss for a while. The flame you perceive here is beyond description. In the center of this chamber, a secret love star appears, scintillating multicolored needle-like rays of golden pink, deep rose, and ruby fire, radiating out in all directions, even penetrating through the walls. The nine-pointed, dazzling secret love star enters your heart center, filling you with the most intense adoration of his love. Your heart chakra resonates with the chamber's frequency as it begins to flower with its 12 magnificent petals, the 12 initiations for the balancing of the Trinity in each of the four lower bodies, the initiations that need to be passed in order to attain Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is a process. It is attained as you change your garments day by day, as you exchange the rags of your human consciousness for your deathless solar body, weaving the seamless garment so Christ may enter. Your soul, to ascend from this etheric level into the next 3 higher bodies, must wear this garment of the Christ. If you desire to mount to the upper 3 chambers, ask your Christ self to wrap you in a seamless garment, a filigree of light, fashioned on the instant from the inner lining of your tube of light, fashioned for your soul as a seamless robe that in this moment you may wear. This will serve as a replica until the day of the completion of your permanent wedding garment, the seamless robe that you must have completely fashioned when the time comes for your soul's alchemical marriage to your holy Christ self, the real you. The holy priest makes the sign of the cross over your throat, praying, O Himalaya, Chakshusha Manu, O Michael, archangel of God's holy will, may this blessed Chila, wrapped in Christ's raiment of light, mount to experience the luminous light of the 5th tier of the blue lotus, or the full flowering of the throat chakra. Levitate now, dematerializing through the solid rock ceiling. As you rematerialize in the fifth tier, the space is permeated with an intense feeling of faith, courage, strength, fortitude, and obedience to God. This is the level of the glorious body of the cosmic Christ, the body of inspiration, the Sambhog Kaya. Penetrate even deeper into this level of the soundless sound. Enter the silence. You are in awe as the scene materializes before you. Every erg of the chamber is permeated with sparkling, three-dimensional, gold-speckled, brilliant blue diamonds. They are swimming in a sea of white fire. They glow and glow with electric light, ranging from an azure to iridescent blue, turquoise, indigo, and even aquamarine. They enter your throat center, filling that center with an intense and self-sacrificing devotion to the will of God. Feel the flame tuning your throat chakra as that chakra flowers, unfolding its 16 petals, 4 petals on each of the 4-sided base of the Great Pyramid of Selfhood, each side representing one of the 4 lower vehicles needed to perfect your Christ consciousness. You so desire that the Word be made flesh within you. Ask silently in your heart. Speak your heart's desire for your recreation after the divine image of the Son of God. The Christ knocks, bidding entrance into your being. Will you allow this blessed Lord to fill your lower bodies with the light of the Christ? Now place your hand in the hand of your own beloved Christ self. Feel the pulsations of the frequencies of the fire of that transparent one, that image of life. You are a Christ in process, as day by day you put on the garments of your Lord. The priest makes the sign of the cross on your brow, praying, O Himalaya, Chakshusha, O Raphael, Archangel of God's vision, may this blessed Chila mount to experience the luminous light of the 6th tier of the blue lotus for the full flowering of the 3rd eye. Let the blessed Son of God lead you as we rise to the level of the all-seeing eye of God. As you rematerialize in the 6th tier, the space is permeated with a consciousness of absolute good, truth, vision, and wholeness. This is the level of first cause, your real body, the great causal body, the Dharma Kaya. Meditate deeply on the flame within the brow, that you see through your inner sight into the beyond, into cosmic dimensions. Enter into the silence, piercing even deeper with the inner eye of the soul. Tune in to absolute reality. Suddenly, the center of the chamber is ablaze with fiery, interlaced, crystalline triangles, forming a mighty six-pointed star. Embracing within it the glorious all-seeing eye of God. Its intensely bright and fiery green emerald light rays pass through every erg of the chamber, even penetrating through the solid rock and beyond. As your third eye resonates with this chamber, see this center begin to flower with its 96 magnificent petals, 48 pairs anchoring the 12 facets of God's consciousness, the doors whereby you enter the inner temple by the 12 gates of initiation. The glorious all-seeing eye of God enters your brow center, focusing your concentration on the upper reaches of the highest self. See the divine monad, the I Am presence, surrounded by the spheres, color rings of light that make up the body of first cause. Your soul wrapped in the Christ light takes flight, rising to the level of this causal body. Gaze upon the splendor and vastness of this body of first cause. This is the habitation of the Most High God, each sphere a successive plane of God's consciousness that make up your heaven world. Stand in its scintillating white fire center as it completely enfolds you with its many-colored, magnificent, pulsating, rainbow spheres of light. Your uniqueness is expressed in the pattern of these beautiful emanations. This pattern identifying how your star differeth from another star in glory. Spiral outward to the circumference of your being that extends to the borders of time and eternity. And let your soul bathe in each of the brilliant, colored rings, taking in the God qualities and virtues, spiritual resources and creativity, talents, graces, gifts, and genius you were endued with in the beginning. Imbued with the goodness of your causal body, cycle back to the center, there to commune with the eternal light of Christos. And wrapped in its perfection, we move to the final level and pinnacle of being. Then the priestly one places the right hand on your crown, praying, O Himalaya, Chakshushamanu, O Jophiel, mighty archangel of wisdom's ray, I pray this blessed Chila attain to Maha Samadhi, the level of Buddhic consciousness through one-pointed concentration, stillness, and meditative absorption, whereby this soul rises to the pinnacle of being for the full flowering of the 1,000-petaled crown of life that has been depicted as the halo of the saints. O 1,000-petaled lotus flame, be opened this day. Be opened as a chalice of living yellow fire. Holiness unto the Lord, holiness unto the Lord, holiness unto the Lord. So be it. You rematerialize in the upper chamber, the highest spiritual plane. You experience an incredible vibration of illumination, understanding, and increased awareness of that which is contained in the mind of God. Enter the deepest level of the great, great silence, Maha Samadhi, absorption into ultimate reality. Walk now into the living center of the One. You become aware that the entire space is ablaze with a multitude of rapidly moving, dazzling spheres of golden, yellow, sapphire light against a backdrop of blazing white fire. As these spheres of the mind of God enter at the crown of your head, they release a golden liquid light, an elixir that penetrates your consciousness, endowing you with illumination from within, realigning your very brain cells themselves. You feel a sense of knowing all things without being tutored or taught. Your crown chakra becomes more and more active, spinning faster and faster, throwing off brilliant yellow diamond flashes of light. It begins its acceleration to its natural frequency, 972 petals. Feel the flowering of the 1,000-petal lotus on the crown of your head. You are destined to master one petal, then another, till the spiral of the yellow rose does become your crown chakra. Pulsating center of radiation appears at the top of the chamber. From this pulsating center of white fire sprouts brilliant yellow and pastel pink flames. Like glorious filaments, they rise and intertwine out of its white fire lily-like center. Also from the core, great fiery gossamer petals of blue flame take shape and unfold all around you. You watch in awe as a luminous and shimmering tricolor lotus flame flower forms, its magnificent petals extending the full width and breadth of the chamber, engulfing you in its resplendent light. There are no words that can describe the grandeur of this experience. After what seems like an eternity, a holy priest speaks. It is only here in this great, great silence that thou shalt meet thy master face to face. And only when you achieve and maintain this state of Maha Samadhi, the blessed Blue Lotus Master Himalaya himself will appear. And in that cosmic interval, consider yourself blessed indeed. Remember, the Master does not communicate with words. You must blend your consciousness with his. Become one with the rhythm of his threefold flame. In this, you will receive the ideations of his mind, although never a word is spoken. Beloved Chela, be at peace. Live in peace. You are peace. And with that, the holy priest dematerializes and disappears, leaving you to contemplate the magnificent scene before you.
Your time alone in the great silence has brought about a metamorphosis, a prelude to your transfiguration. Here in the seventh tier of the Blue Lotus, you have entered into the depths of samadhi. You dwell in the highest state of mental concentration that can be achieved while still bound to the body. Wholly centered in God alone, you have absorbed its holy tone. You have become its unlimited light. You feel the presence of eternality. No longer do you consciously define yourself as outside of his being. You are aware only of yourself in God, as God. You have heard the voice of the silence. You have become the soundless sound. I am Alpha and Omega in the white fire core of being. I am Alpha and Omega in the white fire core of being. I am Alpha and Omega in the white fire core of being. I am that I am. A sound from below now enters your awareness. Your attention is now diverted below, as there is another metamorphosis taking place. The whole mountain becomes crystal clear. What once appeared to you as solid granite now is as transparent as glass. You look down and you can see the 6 lower chambers stacked one upon another. The lotus flame flower surrounding you now starts to glow. And at its base, a stem of intertwining threefold flame light form. And this stalk starts a downward journey, piercing each of the 6 chambers below, till it reaches the first tier, where it begins to root. This root at the base begins to draw the intense white fire currents of the mother up the stem in a caduceus action. And as these currents pass through each tier, you witness the unfolding of a flame flower within each chamber, a bright white lotus, a violet gardenia, a purple gold streaked iris, a petal pink rose, blue forget-me-nots, a green chrysanthemum. The white fire energy rises back to this highest tier, where a multi-jeweled throne forms in the center of the tri-colored lotus flame. A figure appears on the lotus throne, englobed in a blinding light. And sitting there, serenely, is the blue lotus master, God, Himalaya himself. His appearance is as a beautiful, serene, oriental being whose delicate features seem carved out of the finest ivory. His high cheekbones emphasizing the beauty of his exquisite face. His eyes are deep, deep cobalt blue, filled with the wisdom of the ages. His hands are crossed, Chinese fashion, and the length of his tapered fingers and the delicacy of their symmetrical perfection are flower-like and yet purposeful. His robes are flowing silk of the palest yellow. Enraptured to be in his holy aura, you absorb the fragrance of purity, and in the deepest center of your being, you feel his gentle radiance as a tangible presence of great peace, stillness, tranquility, mastery, and godliness, which sanctifies the holy mountain within which his temple and his presence abide. You bow in humility before his mighty light. Quietly, he looks upon you and smiles. You start to perceive the direct, unspoken communication from the master's mind to yours, a direct transfer of thought to thought. Engrammatic pictures form in your mind, images of such beauty and loveliness, harmony and holiness unto the Lord overwhelm you. You hear the master now as clearly as if he was using words. I am Himalaya of the sun. I am Himalaya of the one. Out of the blue lotus I am come. Himalaya I am. Manu of light, lawgiver unto the nations, ancient as the one you know, Sanat Kumara. I communicate out of the flame of universal life, out of the voice of the great silence by the power of telepathy. For you see, my way is the way of silence, and by that silence I force the Chila to penetrate my mind and heart. By that thrust of energy, the Chila develops the desiring to be. And then on the return current of my love and wisdom, the Chila experiences energy penetrating the heart and the mind from my world. In that experience, there is the desirelessness of the Buddha. I am in the heart of the blue flame, the compassionate one. I am a blazing pillar of fire. Do you know me, my son, my daughter? Tier upon tier of immortal destiny I am, and I bear year upon year cycles of infinity as blue flame will. Now I meditate in blue flame lotus. Do you hear the sound of the inner tone that makes us one? My identity is well known, and I desire to atone for ignorance and the dance of anti-Shivas throughout the earth who think that by their prancing and their misuse of sacred fire, they can turn back the day of confrontation with my flame. In the heart of my meditative word, I send the ray to you, each one of my name. Om. Om. Thus I have sent forth an arc of light, flaming word, flaming letters of living fire, written in 100,000 languages of heaven and earth, resounding with the tone of the sacred name that I am. Blue flaming fire of God's will, I come to the west to infill with light. Now receive my body of light, my rays of light, rising by the power of allegiance to the holy will. Even as I speak, my name is sounding in all directions from my blue flame heart, kindled in the heart of this flaming one. A pillar of destiny I am, pulsations from the sun. Within the heart of earth, I am the emanation of mighty cosmos' secret rays. I stand with you, yet I am sealed in the lotus blossom of thy heart. I radiate to all life waves. Alignment for a golden age, each one's own resurrection fire. I am sending of blue crystal from far off worlds. I am the sending of that light that is to meet thy soul in the darkest night of terror's travail. I am the sending of that light through the piercing of the veil. It raises now, it raises the soul. And I remain here to tell there is an action and a pulsation from the very center of the earth for the holding of the balance, for the demand of all life to rise, to accelerate, to put on the garment, gossamer veil, lilian white. I am Himalaya of the sun. I am Himalaya of the one. Light now enter every living cell. Light enter every living cell. I am infusing all of the earth with the divine will to be, to thrust now into the sacred fire of eternity all that is mortality and death and dying and mortal crying. I am casting into the sacred fire all sympathy with death and loneliness born of rebellion against the Lord God Almighty. I am sending forth the sacred fire of God's holy will. I am here for the drawing up of light in millions of souls upon earth. I make my abode in the heart of the mother and within you. Understand how the light of a cosmos can be focalized within my heart and I in you. I am here for the telling of the nations of the geometry of the square of God's will. I am drawing the line. It is a holy line of the law of God's will. It is like unto the measuring rod given unto John the Beloved, the measuring rod measuring the inner and outer court. Lo, I am come. My mission is a mission of the secret rays. As I speak the word, as the word is heard, I am enfolding and penetrating veils of Maya, allowing the light of the central sun to form layers within layers of the polarity of Alpha and Omega within the very matter sphere itself. I am sealing earth for the victory to be accomplished. I am sealing earth for other years and the consuming of other fears. I am Himalaya, eternally radiating the sacred name. Light impel, light foretell a victory and a swallowing up of worlds and planetary spheres and continents and oceans. Light foretell the victory of other years. Light come forth within each heart. Light command alignment. Those who will not align with the nations according to the line of God's will that is drawn and of his law must then be repelled by the will itself. This and that, it is neither here nor there, this and that, a tale or two to tell, but what is that, this or that to thee? Follow the flaming blue, follow the pinpoint of light behind your own third eye, projected now upon the screen of identity, before, behind, magnitude of light, and beyond the point of light, flaming blue, flame flower intensifying sacred fire, flame flower of the sacred hours of life. I am come for the promised foretelling of the victory of light. I surround thee with coils of blue fire. I am within thee. I am foretelling the victory of light within thy very soul. I am foretelling the victory of light in the sun of even pressure in the heart of the earth. I am foretelling the victory of light in the heart of the sun of Helios and Vesta. Hear the call of the flaming fire of God's will. Hear the call that I am, O most beloved of heaven's bands, victory to thee, O gentlest hearts, flaming love, O gentlest hearts, purity's delight, O gentlest hearts, humble in his sight. Now, O now, let the bird take flight, soaring to the stars. Catch them if you can and bring them as a bouquet to the heart of the mother. I am worshiping the Son, the central Son of God, and I am begotten of his will. My image I implant upon every child divided with every son of God, that there may be neither manipulation of the genetic code, nor infiltration of the mind or heart or soul. Precious ones of God's holy will, there are cycles for the victory, coils of fire that protect thy blessed identity. Whirl then, whirl as flaming starfire snowflakes within this fiery core, and know that thy destiny is assured when to his holy will thou dost bow. Know then that the cycle must be complete ere the spiral does place beneath thy feet its own fiery coil and golden sandals for thy flight. Ascension must be won in this hour. Ye are called, and the called amongst the living. Ascension's flame is flaming o'er thy head, and the dove instead is heard singing. singing sacred song all the day and into the night so long. But darkest night flees with the coming of the first sound of the sacred song of the dove. O blessed snowy white dove, proclaiming the new birth of thy Son of light. Indeed, this is my blessed Son, in whom I am well pleased. O victory of victories, O miracle of the ages, Aquarius is come, and the bearer of the waters of elemental life is in thy midst. Let Sana Kumara anoint thy blessed head, and each and every one who will follow thee through the open door into the octaves of light. Son of the Buddha, Son of the Mother, I am come to take thee home. Light of the everlasting victory of love, we are one forevermore. I am forever the god Himalaya, Manu of the fourth root race. Om. O blessed Himalaya, Chakshusha, we, your devotees, in eternal gratitude, ask for your blessing. As we contemplate the wonder of this most sacred experience and the marvelous power of the ascended masters who have tarried with us, not only today, but from the beginning, we who are those who are so transcendent in their power and yet so humble and so natural in their loving association and friendship. Let us be able to continue this blessed work at your retreat of the Blue Lotus as we journey there night after night while we sleep to become the adept that we were meant to be. Seal us, O mighty Master, from the base chakra unto the crown, that the light that we have garnered in your presence might be retained, and that the 7 seals of blue flame lotus be upon us, each one, our 7 chakras enfolded in light, and that light be sealed in our causal body this day. Let it be so. Amen.
Amen.